Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back to another Reaction Wednesday where today I am going to be ranking all of the 92 clubs in the Premier League and the EFL. Now, thank you very much to this legend for suggesting me the idea. He originally said that we should do Club Crest, but I thought we should go further on this channel and take it one step further and rank the size of every single team in the EFL and Premier League. Now, I'm going to be doing this as a tier list, and where I'm getting my judgment from is pretty much the size of the fan base, the number of honours that they have won, the general records that you could say against their rivals, and just sort of things like that really, as well as my own opinion on it. So there is definitely going to be some heat in the comments in this video and a lot of discussion in there. Get as involved as much as you can, and I bet when I watch this video back, I am probably going to disagree with myself. So this is going to be very interesting, but without further ado, let's just get into it. So as you can see, this is the tier list, guys. I have split it up into a few sections. So we have got massive, big, decent, small for your smallish clubs, average, tin pot for your terrible clubs, and then the clubs at the bottom that are smaller than Barry Town United. So what I'm going to do in each of these sections as well is not only am I going to rank them on the tier list, but I'm also going to rank them in their specific tier as well to show which club I believe to be bigger than the other. I am definitely going to get some of these wrong, guys. Also, guys, for you people who don't like to watch whole videos, and I know you're out there, guys, if you see a club going into a tier that you might not like, I might change it at the end of the video because I am definitely going to disagree with myself throughout this. So, yeah, let's get into it anyway. Very easy start, first of all. Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City. Man United, Liverpool and Arsenal, they've got to go in massive, haven't they, guys? Man City, probably in big. Same with Chelsea and Spurs. Next up, we've got Man City, Chelsea and Tottenham. I wouldn't say they're massive, especially historically wise, but Man City are getting there. They just need a bigger fan base. Chelsea, I can't put them in the same category as Man United and Liverpool as well. And Tottenham, you definitely can't. So I'm going to put them in big in that order that they are down the bottom as well, guys. Yeah, if you did just see then, I've changed around a few of the categories because I completely messed that up. But next up, we've got Barnsley. They're not tin pot, and I wouldn't say they're average. I'm going to put them in small for now. That might change, though. Newport, they are small, and they're smaller than Barnsley. Newcastle, decent sized club, verging on big. It is very close on whether I am to put them in big. Morecambe, I could put them in tin pot, but for now I'm going to put them in smaller than Barry Town. Salford, smaller than Barry Town. Cambridge, small, I'm going to go for. Smaller than Newport as well, so they're going to go on the edge of small. Port Vale, tricky one. They're probably going to go in between Barnsley and Newport, if they're going to go any second. There we go. I don't know why it's lagging so much today, guys. Exeter, I'd say they have a fairly decent fan base. Haven't won much, but they are a solid club. I'm probably going to go just behind Newport, in between Newport and Cambridge. Crawley, tin pot. They have fans, though, and they're bigger, I'd say, than Morecambe and Salford as well. Cheltenham, tin pot. Actually, no. Smaller than Barry Town. I have never heard anything about Cheltenham, guys. Is there any Cheltenham fans on this planet? Let me know in the comments, guys, if you know of them. In fact, I'm actually going to put them bigger than Salford there. Bristol City, average. I don't think they're big enough to go into decent just yet. Bristol Rovers, probably going to put them in small, but ahead of Port Vale. Reading, shocking fan base. I don't rate them at all. They can be okay on some away days, but as you know, I don't like their stadium, and I say this all the time about them. Have some very poor opinions about them if you watch previous videos, but yeah, they need to sell out a lot more of their games, and their fans need to be a bit louder. So I'm going to put them in small, and they need to win a few honours as well, I think. Oh, next up, we've got the Jacks. Oh, easy, tin pot. Only joking, Swansea fans, I'm not that harsh. I'd say they're bigger than Bristol City. I'm going to put them in average for now, but they're going to slip down average like mad when we get to other clubs that should be going there. Bournemouth, I'd say they're quite small, probably in between Reading and Barnsley. They have had some great success in the last few years as well, to be fair to them. Their best moments in their club history have definitely been within the last 10 years, guys. Luton Town, I'd say they're a decent-sized club. Probably behind Bournemouth, though. There we go. Blackburn, Premier League champions, of course, from the 90s. Decent club, I'd say. I'm going to put them average just above Swansea, I think. I'm going to put them at the top of average for now. Watford had some good years in the last few years, in and out of the Premier League as well before then. Tricky one, this. They've won a few trophies, reached a few cup finals. Decent fan base as well. Difficult. I am probably going to go average for Watford. QPR, definitely an average. Got a good fan base, tiny stadium. Maybe they should do some renovations to it. But yeah, I think they're a decent-sized club in and out of the Premier League, as you know, even though they were struggling a few years back. But are starting to climb back up the Championship table now. Decent-sized club. They have had a major trophy within the last 10 years as well. Very good fans as well, I think. Especially home and away. St Andrews can be a fortress at times. Would love to go and see a second City derby at some point. Yeah, so I'm going to put them in between Blackburn and Watford in average. Rotherham, going to put them in tin pot. I don't think their fan base is particularly great. And I don't know any Rotherham fans personally. I know there's a few channels here on YouTube. But their fan base just doesn't impress me. And every time they come down to Cardiff, I haven't been particularly impressed with them either, guys. Next up, we got Millwall. Cracking fan base. Now, the question is for me, are they bigger than Swansea? I'd say they're identical size, really. But Swansea, obviously, I'd say have had a few more honours than them. I'm probably going to put them in between Swansea and Bristol City. Next up, we got Middlesbrough. Very good fan base in and out of the Premier League. Next up, we got Middlesbrough. Very good fan base. Solid stadium with a good atmosphere as well, from what I've heard. They've reached the UEFA Cup final in 2006 and won a League Cup here in Cardiff as well in 2003. Had some decent success in the last few years in and out of the Premier League as well. Great fans, so I'm probably going to put them in average ahead of Blackburn. I don't think they're on the same level as Newcastle, though, guys. Next up, we got Lincoln City. I don't think they're tin pot. They've had some very good fans, especially when they took about 7,000 down to Arsenal for an FA Cup tie when they were in the conference as well, travelling all that way. I'm probably going to put them in between Exeter and Newport County. Next up, we got Hull City. Had massive struggles in the last few years. They don't sell out their stadium at all. Fans are up and down. They can be alright sometimes, and other times they can be absolute dire. I'm going to put them in small, in between Reading and Bournemouth. Next up, we got Ipswich Town. Decent-sized club. They've won the UEFA Cup before, but they've struggled in the last few years. Good fan base as well. Difficult for me, this one. I'm probably going to put them in between Middlesbrough and Blackburn. Next up, we got Sunderland. Struggled in the last few years. Have got some silverware, and I'd say are a pretty decent club. They're definitely up there with Newcastle, but not as big, of course. I am going to put them in decent. So both the North East clubs on the same category there. Next up, we got Doncaster. Difficult. I don't really rate their fans. I don't think they've done much either. I'm probably going to put them in small, but ahead of both Exeter and probably Cambridge as well. Yeah, between Exeter and Cambridge. Gillingham's next. Probably one of the worst away ends in the whole of the UK. Don't think they've actually done much either. Fans are okay, I'd probably say as well, from what I've heard. I believe they have come to Cardiff in the last few years, and I thought they were fairly alright. Considering they are a League 1, League 2 club. So I'm probably going to put them in small as well, in between Lincoln and Newport County. Next up, we got Swindon Town, former Premier League club, of course. They have been up and down in the leagues, basically been in every league in the EFL since the 90s. I really don't know where to go with this club. It's probably going to be in small again, but yeah, I think they're bigger than Port Vale and probably Bristol City as well, so I'm going to put them between them and Luton Town. Next up, we got Peterborough. I thought their fans were alright, definitely up for an away game when they have come to the Cardiff City Stadium, when they did reach the Championship. Fairly small club, though. I don't think they can match with teams such as QPR, Bristol City, Millwall in average, so probably going to put them just above Bristol Rovers in small. Next up, we've got Accrington Stanley. Cue the meme.
Accrington Stanley? Who are they? Exactly.
I don't think they're tin pot because their fans can be alright sometimes, but I am going to put them on the edge of small, virgin on tin pot. It's Accrington Stanley, isn't it, guys? Next up, we got Wigan. They have had success in the last few years, but by far last season, they had the worst fan base in the Championship. They're in a rugby town, and their fans don't really impress me. I don't think I've ever seen the DW Stadium sold out, so I'm probably going to put them between Posh and Swindon Town. Next up, we've got Portsmouth. Cracking fan base, especially the guy that rings the bell. Beat us in 2008 for the FA Cup as well. Had some major honours in their times. It's a massive shame what they've had to go through over the last decade, though. I do feel sorry for them being an established Premier League club to slip in all the way down into League 2 with all their financial troubles and going into administration and stuff. I think they're definitely an average-sized club, and I'm going to put them between Watford and Swansea. Everton, now, tricky one. When they've had some major honours, are they bigger than Newcastle or Sunderland, though? I don't think they're bigger than Spurs, so I can't put them in big, even though I might put some sides in big later on. But Everton, they haven't won anything since the 90s, so I'm probably going to put them in... Are they bigger than Sunderland? I'm going to say they're bigger than Sunderland, so I'm going to put them in decent, guys. Next up, we got Aston Villa. Huge club. I mean, some people don't think they're that big, but from what I've seen at Villa Park with the unbelievable atmosphere, by the way, Villa Park is one of my favourite away days in the whole of the UK, so I'm probably going to put them in big. They've had big European success as well, winning the Champions League, or whatever it was called back then. So yeah, definitely quantify a big club. However, I don't think they're bigger than Tottenham, although I do think they're bigger than Newcastle. Next up, we've got Leicester City. They're slowly but surely getting there with the size of the club. I believe they're expanding their stadium soon. Have won the Premier League recently. They're starting to establish as an upper Premier League side as well. Although I don't think they're up there with the sort of Sunderland, Everton, Newcastle and Villa fan bases. So I'm going to put them just indecent over what they've done in the last few years, guys. Next up, we got Leeds. One of the biggest clubs in the UK fan base wise, but they have been struggling over the last few years, although they have had European success, even though they haven't won any major trophies in Europe. So I'm probably going to put them between Everton and Newcastle. Next up, we got West Ham, another club that's getting there, but have teetered in and out of the Championship a few times within this century. I think they've been in the Championship twice, but last time they went up straight away, and I think the other time they took 2 seasons to get back up into the Premier League, starting to establish up. They're actually in the top 4 at the moment, which is absolutely mad. I think they're bigger than Leicester, but not as big as Sunderland, so I'm going to put them in decent. Next up, we got Southampton, another club that's done it fairly well in the Premier League recently, even though they dropped down into League One in the late noughties, but brought it back straight away. I do like Southampton as a club, but the question is, where do I put them? This is probably the most difficult yet. This is difficult. This is really difficult. Are they bigger than Middlesbrough and Ipswich? I don't think so. Yeah, they're going to go between Ipswich and Blackburn. Next up, we got Crystal Palace. Don't think they've won much in their history. They've been fairly decent this decade as well, establishing the Premier League, doing pretty well. Fan base is incredible, but in terms of the size of club and historically, I don't think they've done enough to get themselves into decent. So I'm probably going to put them between Birmingham and Watford, but put Watford below Portsmouth. Why on earth did I put Portsmouth behind Watford? Come on. Next up, we got Wolves, starting to establish as a Premier League club. They have had quite a few major honours as well over the years, especially historically. They have a great pedigree as well. They're starting to get back where they were fan base wise. They're doing expansions to their stadium, and they've got some decent major honours as well. So I think they're bigger than Middlesbrough, so I'm going to put them in decent. Next up, we got Brighton. A team that I don't think have won much, and I'm really debating where to put them. But looking over the last 10 years, they have had a cracking decade, getting into the Premier League, expanding their stadium all the way to max capacity. I believe they opened it with about 25,000 capacity, but then they boosted up to 30 when the ticket demand was absolutely insane. Club-wise, though, I don't think they've won much, so I can't put them above Swansea, but I'm going to put them above Millwall. They're an average club, Brighton. Next up, we got West Brom. They've won stuff in their history. They're definitely going into decent as well. But the question is, are they bigger than Wolves? This is probably the rivalry where both teams are very similar in club size. So I believe Wolves have got the bragging rights and tend to sell out a lot more than West Brom. And Wolves' fans as well do impress me a lot more than West Brom. So I'm going to put West Brom in decent. No, actually, I'm going to put West Brom in average. I'm going to put them between Southampton and Ipswich. Next up, we got Burnley, passionate fan base. I think their away support sometimes is very dodgy. When Cardiff were last in the Premier League, I thought that they were the worst fans to come to the Cardiff City Stadium, considering it was a daytime game as well, when they should have really done better. Historically as well, I think they've been decent, won stuff in their time. I believe they've won the First Division and the FA Cup as well. So I'm probably... yeah, they're definitely going to go in average, just the question where. Yeah, they're going to go between Swansea and Millwall. No, actually, between Swansea and Watford. I do think they're slightly bigger than Swansea. Actually, no, saying that, I think they're bigger than Watford as well. Move them over. Yeah, between Watford and Portsmouth. Next up, we got Sheffield United. Quite a big club, I'd say. Very passionate fans from the Steel City. I believe they've won stuff in their time as well, although I don't think they're bigger than Sheffield Wednesday. I'm going to put them between Ipswich and Middlesbrough. Actually, no. Ipswich and West Brom. Next up, we got Fulham. Their fan base doesn't excite me too much. Yes, they do have a pocket of passionate fans and actually decent fans as well. But apart from that, there's only a handful, and I'm not really impressed with it. I think the atmosphere is a little dead at Craven Cottage, but they have done stuff in their time. But apart from that, I don't think they've really won much. So looking on the list, I'm probably going to put them between Burnley and Watford. Yeah, Burnley and Watford. Yeah, next up, we got Colchester. I don't know much about them, really. I do think they're quite a small club, but I don't think they should really be in Tim Pot. I think they have had some alright moments with their fans and stuff, and have done alright in the leagues as well. I'm probably going to put them between Cambridge and Exeter. And saying that as well, I'm going to move Gillingham down below Lincoln and Doncaster Rovers as well. Next up, we've got Forest Green Rovers. Done well to get into the EFL over the last couple of years. Haven't done much apart from that historically, but I don't think they're a big club, and I actually think they're smaller than Barrytown United, even smaller than the likes of Salford, Cheltenham, and Morecambe as well. Next up, we've got Carlisle. They actually came to the Cardiff City Stadium around a year ago in the FA Cup. We obviously beat them in the end. Where do I put Carlisle? I think they've got a cracking fan base there. But the question is, where do I put them? I don't think they're bigger than Bristol Rovers or Newport County. So yeah, I'm going to put them between Lincoln and Doncaster. Next up, we got Harrogate Town, a team that I haven't really seen in the Football League before. I think they're smaller than Barry Town, but I actually think they're bigger than Forest Green and not as big as Salford, though. Walsall next. Difficult one, this. You always go past their stadium on an away day when it is north of Birmingham. Looks like a cracker. I'd like to go someday as well. I believe the fans are okay as well. I wonder what the stadium would be like on a good day. But the question is, where do I put them? Yeah, I'm going to put them ahead of Lincoln City in between Newport and Lincoln. Next up, we got Bradford. Very good fan base. I don't think they've done much. Yes, they did get to the League Cup final a few years ago where they lost to a particular side. Come on, Bradford. Yeah, very good fans, though. I'm going to put them ahead of very good fans, though. I think they are small, unfortunately. I'm going to put them between Bournemouth and Hull. But they haven't done much either, so yeah, I'm going to put them between Bournemouth and Hull. Next up, we've got AFC Wimbledon, the new Wimbledon club, of course, formed in 2004, I believe. So that makes them about 16 to 17 years old. They do have a good fan base. Glad to see them black in Plough Lane as well. And of course, when the original side did move to MK Dons, they had all their trophies handed back and stuff, their FA Cup and stuff, so... I do think they're good. I'm going to put them in small though for now. I don't think they're Tin Pot or smaller than Barry Town. I think they have better fans than Wigan though. I'm going to put them between Wigan and Swindon. Next up, we've got Charlton Athletic, a team that's been in the Premier League before. Not sure how much they've won though. I need to read up on that. I think their fan base is quite alright, even though they have gone downhill in the last few years. I do feel sorry for them for the amount of protests they've had to go on with their owners and stuff. I'm thinking about putting them in average, and I'm probably going to as well. Just after QPR, I think, in average. Next up, we got Pie Faces team, Plymouth Argyle. Fairly sized club. They used to be in the Championship, but they've had a massive fall from grace over the last 10 years. I think they are quite a small club, though, even though they can make some noise. I don't think they've won much historically, either. The question is where to put them. I don't think they're bigger than Bournemouth, but I'm going to say they're bigger than Swindon, so I'm going to put them in small. Next up, we got Northampton Town, sort of floating between League 1 and League 2. Not sure I know much about them. Yeah, they're definitely going to go in small. I don't think they're Tin Pot at all. I've heard some things about their fans being alright as well. The question is where to in small. I'm probably going to go between Doncaster and Gillingham. Next up, we got Rochdale. Don't know much about them. I don't think they've done much historically, sort of floating around League 2 and League 1. Where do I put them again? Probably in the same place as Northampton, just after Doncaster, I reckon. Next up, we got Oxford United, probably one of the weirdest stadiums out of the 92 in the EFL, where they just have a stand completely missing. Not sure what they've done historically. I believe they tried to get in the Championship for the last few years. This is quite difficult, actually. I think they're bigger than Carlisle and Doncaster, but not as big as the likes of Lincoln and Walsall. So I'm going to go between Lincoln and Carlisle. Next up, we got Stoke City. Cracking fans. They do like to make an atmosphere at home and also very loud at away games as well. They've done pretty well in the last few years as well. Not sure how much they've won on the silverware front. I do think they're bigger than some of the clubs in average. But the question is where. I'm probably going to put them between Burnley and Portsmouth. Actually, no, they're bigger than Palace, I'd say. I'm probably going to, yeah, I'm probably going to go between Palace and Birmingham City. Next up, we got Preston North End. Not particularly impressed by their fans over the last few years. I don't think they've made too much noise when they've come to Cardiff, even though it is all that way. They have won some silverware, though, and they are definitely big enough to get into average. However, I don't think they're bigger than the likes of Bristol City or QPR anymore. Actually, maybe bigger than QPR, I'm going to say, just because of their historic stuff, even though they haven't been in the top flight for ages. So I'm going to put them between Bristol City and Queen's Park Rangers. Next up, we got Brentford, who have had a fantastic century so far, trying to crawl their way into the Premier League. I believe they're second in the Championship at the moment. They got a new stadium, even though I think it looks bang average compared to what Griffin Park was. Really having a great rise over the years. I don't think they're as big as Charlton, and I don't think they should really be going in average just yet. They need to establish in the Premier League for me to think about getting them in that area and also winning something as well. I'd say they're bigger than Reading and Hull as well, though. So I'm going to put them in between Hull and Bradford. Next up, we have got my team, the Mighty Bluebirds. Now, it's hard for me not to be biased on this one. The question is, where are they going? I know this for fact that we're definitely a bigger club than Swansea. I'm going to have Swansea fans slaughtering me in the comments for saying that. Even though, look at the facts about it, guys. I'm not going to go there. The question is, who are we bigger than, though? I think we're bigger than Stoke, but the question is, are we bigger than Birmingham City and Southampton? I'd like to think we're bigger than Southampton. But this is so difficult where to put Cardiff. I don't think we're big enough to go into decent, and we're not smaller than half the clubs in the average section. So I am going to go between Southampton. No, we're bigger than... Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. No, I'm a Cardiff fan. I've got to put us above West Brom. There we go. Between Sheffield United and West Brom, guys. I'd say we're a pretty decent-sized club. Next up, we got Norwich City. Decent fans, always selling out Carrow Road as well, which is great to see in the Championship no matter what. I don't think they've done much either, but I think they're slightly bigger than Stoke, but not as big as Birmingham City, so I'm going to put them in average. And also, I don't think they're bigger than Ipswich, even though they've done better over the last few years. Next up, we have Coventry City, a big historic club, but they have had a massive fall from grace recently. And also, they don't have a home stadium at the moment, but they've done a fair bit in the past. And I'd say they have fairly passionate fans as well. The question is, where do they go? I definitely say they're bigger than the likes of Fulham and Watford. But the question is, are they bigger than Burnley? I'm probably going to say they edge it just. Actually, no. Recently, I'd say Burnley are bigger, so probably between Burnley and Fulham. Next up, we got Tranmere. I'd say they're a pretty decent club on Birkenhead. I don't think they've done much recently because they've been flirting in and out of the conference. Fans are okay, though, I'd say. They're going to go in small. I don't think they're tin pot at all. But where do they go in small? I think they're going to slightly be bigger than Carlisle. But I don't think they're bigger than... No, I think they're bigger than Oxford, actually. I'm going to go between Oxford and Lincoln. Next up, we got Stevenage. They've been knocking on the door for the National League over the last few years. I don't think I can really put them in small, so I am going to put them in tin pot. But behind Rotherham and Crawley. In fact, I'm going to actually move Rotherham up to the edge of tin pot, Virgin on small. Next up, we got Leyton Orient, a fairly historic club, although they have been in the National League over the last few years because of their disgraceful owners and actually almost went out of business as well, guys, for a club like Leyton Orient. I'd say their fans are fairly okay as well, but the question is, where do I put them? I'm probably going to go between Oxford and Tranmere. Next up, we got Tiny Temper's favourite team, Scunthorpe. Not many people know where it is or who it is. Question is, fan base-wise, they fairly impressed me when they came to the Cardiff City Stadium. I thought they were up for it on their day, but historically, I don't think they've done much in their fans. They could be a bit better as well, so a bit better in numbers-wise. So the question is, where do I put them? Probably going to go between Lincoln and Tranmere, guys. Actually, no, above Lincoln, between Lincoln and Walsall. Next up, we got Bolton Wanderers, who have had a terrible decade. Started off well, but went massively downhill from there. They're in League 2 now after going into administration and everything, but they used to be quality in Europe all these years ago. Won quite a few bits of silverware. Very good fans, and if I don't give them a good grading, the Fogdad Defence League is absolutely going to kill me. So the question is, where do they go? Probably in between Norwich and Birmingham City. Next up, we got Crewe Alexandra. Absolutely brilliant youth system. I'd say their fans are okay as well, but they're definitely going to be somewhere in small. But the question is, where are they going to go? I don't really know. I think their fans can be okay, though. But I think they could add possibly a few more and do a bit more historically as well. So yeah, I'm going to put them between Oxford United and Leyton Orient. I know I've definitely got this one wrong. Next up, we got Shrewsbury. I'd say quite a small club. Haven't done much historically, but it's a nice close away day for me. Not too sure how the fans are either. Don't really know much about Shrewsbury, to be fair. So I'm going to probably put them in small between Exeter and Colchester. Next up, we got Blackpool. Started off the decade really well in the Premier League, beating us, of course. Don't remind me of that day. Oh, Charlie Adam, man. They have had historical success. I believe they've won the FA Cup and stuff, and they've also had a Ballon d'Or winner playing for them. But over the last few years, they've been terrible because of the Oystons, and I think their fans, they are passionate, but I think they could have a few more possibly. So I don't think they have proficient fans as Bradford, so I'm going to put them between Bradford and Bournemouth. Okay, Burton Albion, that is an absolutely cracking and probably one of the most underrated away days out there. Absolutely love the terrace they have. I believe they were only founded in like the 1950s or 60s, so a relatively new club. I don't think they're smaller than Barry Town because they do have a good selection of fans. I think they're a good fan base, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to put them in tin pot due to the size of the club. Next up, we got Franchise FC, MK Dons. You know my opinions about them. I don't think they're smaller than Barrytown, though, but they are definitely Tin Pot. Next up, we got Huddersfield. Good success recently. I don't think they travel well, especially in the Premier League when we were up there. It was a daytime fixture, and they didn't bring many fans down, and that was in the Premier League as well, so they should have done much better. I don't think they're bigger than the likes of Charlton, though, so I'm probably going to put them in average. Actually, no, I'm going to put them in the top of small. Next up, we got Fleetwood. Does anyone know where Fleetwood is, guys? Yeah, I'm going to put them in smaller than Barrytown, although I don't think they're smaller than likes of Forest Green, Salford, or maybe Cheltenham. Yeah, I'm going to put them between Cheltenham. Actually, no. I'm going to put them on the end of smaller than Barrytown. Virgin on Tin Pot. Next up, we got Derby County. Very good historic club. And actually, Forest is next to them on the list as well. So, this is very simple for me. Who's bigger, though? I'd say that Forest just edge it, but I've got to put both sets of fans in decent. Very, very good, guys, even though I think Derby could travel a little bit better away. And Forest, I don't think they've been as good as they should have been over the last 20 years. Next up, we got Wycombe Wanderers. I'd say they're quite a small club, but definitely not Tin Pot. I don't know where actually to put them in small. I'm probably going to put them in between Oxford and Carlisle, I think. Next up, we got Sheffield Wednesday. Big historic club. They're definitely going in decent, but are they bigger than Forest and Derby? I'm probably going to say they are. I'm going to put them in between Leicester and West Ham. Anyway, for the last few ones, I'm going to rattle them off very quickly. Macclesfield, I'm going to go for fairly small because most of their fans probably support Nottingham Forest or Notts County. So I'm going to put them in between Cambridge and Accrington Stanley. Barrow, smaller than Barrytown, but I don't think they're smaller than Harrogate and Forest Green Rovers. Actually, yeah, they're smaller than Salford. Oldham, they have been in the Premier League since 1992. However, I don't think they've done much historically, and they've had a massive fall from grace. They're going to go into small, but where? Probably just a bit bigger than Bristol Rovers. So, yeah, about there. In between Bristol Rovers and Peterborough. Grimsby Town, I'd say they're quite small, but they have a cracking fan base between Gillingham and Northampton Town. And then finally, the last one out of the 92, Southend United. I'd say they have alright fans. They do tend to get a good crowd there as well, and I'd say they're quite lively, even though they haven't done much historically, I don't think. They're going to go in small, just where, though, for that matter. I'm probably going to go between Rochdale and Doncaster. So there it is, guys. We have finally ranked all 92 clubs, and looking at it now, I don't think I can disagree with anything I've put on there. Mind editing it back later, I probably will. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments about it, guys. And I know it's going to be very lively. I'm going to get crucified for some of these, especially Swansea as well in some cases. So guys, if you want to suggest me something that you want to see me react to next week, then please do remember to drop a comment below. And yeah, if you have enjoyed this video, then please remember to leave a like. And if this is the first ever video you've seen by me, then please remember to like, comment, subscribe, do what you can to support the channel, and turn on the notifications so you never miss an upload. Remember the promises too. If I hit 1k subscribers by my birthday, follow all my social medias in the description below, and I will see you all next week for another Reaction Wednesday. Hoil var.